All right, the 49ers have dominated the Seattle Seahawks 31-13, and the 49ers are now the number 2 seed in the NFC. I can't say seed because the playoffs haven't started yet, but the 49ers move into the number 2 position behind only the Philadelphia Eagles. And guess who they play next? The Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I am not watching the game currently. I just left the television, but you have to let me know if the 49ers eat turkey on Seattle's 50-yard line, because that would be vengeance for what happened in 2014. But long story short, another good game for Brock Purdy in what has been a sensational season for him. He's still going to be the top-rated guy leaving this one after what a throw to Brandon Aiyuk. And what a season Brandon Aiyuk is having, right? Christian McCaffrey set the tone for the 49ers early in this game. The defense played really well. Anytime that you beat a divisional opponent by 18 points, I mean, it's just yet another commanding win for the 49ers, 31-13. Anytime that happens, well, you can consider yourself an elite team. And the 49ers have now moved to 8-3 on the season. Yes, this does look like an elite football team. Firing on all cylinders. I thought that even special teams today for the 49ers ended up coming through. Not early, right? They gave up that kick return at the start that put Seattle in position to score its first 3 points. And we said, oh, here we go again. Seattle's special teams is going to be able to keep the Seahawks close, but the 49ers quickly shut the door on that, and then they actually started winning on special teams. They actually got DJ Dallas's muffed punt, and then the 49ers capitalized on that. It was one of those games where it was very clear that Seattle was going to need some help just to stay in it. And the 49ers gave them a little bit of help early second half. It was a throw that Brock Purdy makes 99 times out of 100. The short throw hits Christian McCaffrey in stride normally. This time he made him reach for it. I'm going to have to watch the All-22, maybe ask around in the 49ers locker room to see if that one was tipped. But for whatever reason, Purdy misfired early in the second half. Flukes happen. Seattle then got lucky, right? They got lucky that even though, Purdy misfired, they also received the benefit of that ball being tipped up into the air instead of bat it down into the ground or, bat it away somewhere in a harmless zone of the field. It went right to Jordan Brooks. He took it back for a pick six, and all of a sudden it was 24-10. It had been 24-3 at halftime. The 49ers completely squelched Seattle in the first half before the 2-minute drive. They had given up only 15 yards of total offense. The theatrics of Geno Smith on the table doing the press conference. Are you kidding me? I mean, it obviously was all for show. The TV broadcast ate it up, but you're telling me he can't do his elbow treatment, and at some point of the day where the TV crew isn't there interviewing him, and then conveniently allow cameras in there to put on national TV, give me a break. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, Seattle's all about the style in this game. They're not really about the substance. You can't really talk about your toughness if you're broadcasting, oh, look how tough I am on national TV. I thought that was kind of embarrassing, to be honest, from Geno Smith. Are the 49ers eating turkey on the 50? Oh, the 49ers are eating turkey on the 50, or they're eating turkey on the 49ers field. That is vengeance for the 49ers. It was just sent to me via text message. So this is going to be tweeted right now on my account, Lombardi himself, of course. It's going up right now. I messed that up. I'm going to have to redo this. But breaking news, the 49ers, 9 years after Seattle Seahawks, Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson ate turkey on the Levi Stadium 50-yard line. The 49ers are doing it on Seattle's field. So the tweet is going to be, the 49ers are eating turkey on Seattle's field. 9 years later, vengeance, period. So the 49ers did it. 31-13. I mean, the level at which the 49ers were better than the Seahawks in this game was almost comical, to be honest. Because I look back at some of the offseason takes of people saying, oh, Seattle's closed the gap because they drafted Jackson Smith Najigba. Oh, Seattle's closed the gap because they've signed or traded for Leonard Williams. And it's like, are you kidding me? When you look at the final numbers in this game, the 49ers outgained Seattle 377 to 220. That's despite giving up a lot of prevent defense yardage in this game. Up until the 2-minute drive at the end of the first half, the Seattle Seahawks had only 15 yards of total offense. I talked about the theatrics of Geno Smith trying to show how tough he was by letting the TV crew in on his elbow therapy session or whatever that was. I mean, the guy couldn't complete an out pattern early in the first half. Ambry Thomas was the most physical cornerback on the field. The Seahawks benched Tariq Woolen because he wasn't tackling well enough. At least it appeared that way. When Ambry Thomas is the most physical corner on the field, and obviously Ambry Thomas has been known to deal with a lack of physicality in the past, and he fought through the receiver for that interception that really put the 49ers in the driver's seat in the first half. Well, when that's the case, you know that the game is going really, really damn well for the 49ers. The other corner, Devin Witherspoon, might have had that nice pass breakup against Brandon Aiyuk, but he wasn't even interested in pursuing a run play early where he got bailed out by a holding call on Jawan Jennings. And then Jennings had 3 guys on him on a 3rd down, and Jennings still powered forward to a 1st down. And one of the would-be tacklers was Devin Witherspoon. So to me, everybody talking about Seattle's corners and how well they're leading this football team and they're budding stars. They weren't ready for what the 49ers brought to the table today. And the 49ers always bring toughness. They bring yards after the catch to the table. They bring a big boy football game. And Seattle was in no way ready for that. The 49ers play Philadelphia next. Philadelphia plays Buffalo this weekend. The 49ers have passed Detroit, so they're now, as I said, in that number 2 spot. They're 2 games behind Philly. If Buffalo beats Philly on Sunday, then the 49ers will have a chance to overtake Philly for the 1 spot in Philadelphia, not this weekend, but the weekend after that. But first, the 49ers... Okay, I have another report. George Kittle, this is from Margot, our trusted sideline correspondent. We can actually trust her. George Kittle took the whole turkey, threw some to the crowd, and then ran back to the locker room. So the 49ers are getting their vengeance and then some 9 years later against Seattle, eating turkey, and they've taken it up a level from what Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson did. They pretty calmly ate turkey at the 50 back in 2014 at Levi Stadium. The 49ers are actually eating the turkey voraciously and throwing it into the crowd in Seattle. So 9 years later, the 49ers have exacted payback against the Seahawks. And I mean, this was just a whipping. This was a thorough whipping. Diomede Lenore was talking some crap yesterday about Geno Smith on Twitter. 49ers lived up to all of that. Charvarius Ward, what a game. I mean, the 49ers, I would say that he's firmly established himself as a top 10 corner. Charvarius Ward having a nice season for the 49ers, and today he was stride for stride with DK Metcalf at every single turn. I mean, it was really, really impressive. Diomede Lenore played well too. I said Ambry Thomas was playing more physically than any Seattle cornerback today. Tariq Woolen got benched. Devin Witherspoon didn't show anything impressive outside of the 1 pass breakup. But you have to be absolutely ready if you are the opponent of the San Francisco 49ers to put on your big boy pants, and the Seahawks just weren't today. Speaking of putting on big boy pants, the 49ers defensive line, I talked about the fact that Seattle last year had given up 61 pressures over 3 whippings to the 49ers, which is a lot. And nothing seemed to indicate that Seattle would do better this time. That analysis was correct. The 49ers had 6 sacks in this game. 2 sacks from Nick Bosa, a sack and a half from Javon Hargrave, a 1 from Armstead. Steve Wilkes was calling a lot of great blitzes for the 49ers. They're just bum rushing that line. Wilkes, I think, called an awesome game with the exception of some of the soft coverage at the end of the first half. I thought that let Seattle get in position to score 3, but they didn't score those 3 because they missed the field goal. But it was just unnecessary. It gave Seattle's offense a little confidence that they didn't need. Because again, they had 15 yards, the Seahawks did. 15 over the course of the whole first half up until that last gasp drive before halftime. So it's one of those things where the 49ers, I think, gave Seattle a little bit of life that they otherwise wouldn't have had in this game. Greenlaw led the way with 8 tackles. I thought the 49ers did well in the kill zone. There were a few missed tackles in this game. I think Jair Brown missed one late. But, for the most part, the 49ers were so impressive on the defensive side of the ball. Again, I predicted 27-17, right? And I said that 17 might be generous for Seattle. That turned out to be generous. They only scored 13 points. So the 49ers held the Seahawks right around where we thought they would hold the Seahawks. Just a lot better defense than Geno Smith and that offense can master. And on the other side of the ball, the 49ers put up 31. Brock 30 again, right? I thought 27 because I thought they'd let off the gas a little bit. But I think that the DJ Dallas muffed punt at the start of the game, I didn't expect the special teams advantage to break in the 49ers' favor as much as it did. And because it did, the 49ers were able to put up 31. Purdy, 21 of 30, 209 yards. The one pick came on a deflected pass. He rarely misses those short throws. Missed one today, but Purdy still, I think, should be an MVP frontrunner. He's going to have a chance to really entrench himself in that position next week when the 49ers travel to Philadelphia. If the 49ers beat the Eagles, the tide will change as far as the betting markets, as far as the media perception of everything. Jalen Hurts, a lot of people were trying to crown him after a really ugly win against Kansas City. This was a lot cleaner performance from Brock Purdy against Seattle on the road on Thanksgiving. I mean, he was sizzling in the first half when the 49ers jumped out to that 24-3 lead. And then when you looked at that 28-yard touchdown throw to Brandon Aiyuk to seal this game, that was a great illustration of the strides that Brock Purdy has made as a quarterback this year. Remember when he got blown up, his elbow got blown up, quite literally, against the Philadelphia Eagles with Hassan Reddick coming off the edge. And Purdy did not subtly step up in the pocket in that game. Well, this year, Brock Purdy, time and time again, has shown that he's mastered the subtleties of delivering from the pocket, stepping up in a very nuanced fashion to buy himself that extra inch, that extra fraction of a second of time to get a throw off of a clean platform. Boye Mafe, the great, I wouldn't say great, but a solid young Seattle edge rusher, came in hard off the edge, and he beat Colton McKivitz, and that's obviously the weak point of the 49ers offensive line over there at right tackle. And Brock Purdy had to keep his eyes downfield so he could spot Brandon Aiyuk there, kind of in the middle of the field, right? Almost down the seam in the middle of the field. Purdy kept his eyes downfield, but he sensed Mafe had beaten Colton McKivitz. This is how a quarterback beats or overcomes a struggling offensive line, which Brock Purdy has done this year. And ever so slightly, Purdy nudged up in the pocket, slid up in the pocket, and then let go of a throw as he got crushed by Boye Mafe. And it was a perfect pass, just a dime to Brock Purdy to seal this football game. So Brock Purdy's an elite quarterback. There's no question about it. Christian McCaffrey, meanwhile, is a damn elite player. Future Hall of Fame player that we're watching in Christian McCaffrey. 19 carries, 114 yards. Seattle just wasn't interested in tackling. Again, I could say this over and over. They didn't put their big boy pants on for this football game. They probably don't have the big boy pants to put on for a game like this, which is why the 49ers have now beaten them those 4 straight times. And they've been beatings each time. I mean, they've whipped Seattle 4 straight times, and now they're tossing turkey into the crowd in Seattle, so they're getting their revenge for 2014. But what's happening right now with the 49ers is they didn't eat turkey on the 50. They ate it on the 25, but they threw it into the crowd. I'm just reading some of the comments. What's happening, though, right now with the 49ers and the Seahawks is the 49ers are the class of the division. They're better on the line of scrimmage than any other team in the division. That's showing in all these divisional games. They haven't lost one since 2021. They haven't lost an in-season divisional game since the Seahawks in 21. They lost to the Rams in the NFC Championship that year. But since then, the 49ers have continued to stock up on the D-line. Other teams haven't been able to keep pace. And guys like Christian McCaffrey are just tougher. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, just tougher than the defenders that these other NFC West opponents are throwing at the 49ers. So the next test for San Francisco is Philadelphia. And Philadelphia, obviously, you're playing a video game and you face the boss, and then you face the next boss, and then you face the final boss. I don't know if Philadelphia is just the next boss or if it's the final boss, but at least in terms of the regular season, it might be the final boss that the 49ers have to take down. They're going to bring more to the table than Seattle did. To be honest, that wasn't a performance to be proud of if you're the Seahawks. to be down 21 at halftime, then to get lucky on that pick six. It wasn't a coverage play that they made. Jordan Brooks was just sitting there. Ball was deflected up into the air, made the catch, ran it back. They never got within 11, even despite some of the breaks that the 49ers gave them down the stretch. So it's going to be tougher against Philadelphia next week. But what you can't do as somebody who watches the NFL is devalue 18-point wins. And the 49ers keep on blowing teams out. All 8 of their wins this season have been by double digits. And there's one, came with an asterisk. It was only by 7 against the Rams, but it's because they kicked that field goal there at the very end, which was essentially meaningless. But the 49ers have been dominating in their wins. A healthy 49ers team is the best squad in the National Football League. The data says that. The data screams that from the rooftops. The offense is number one. The defense is surging back toward that top 3, top 4 territory. And today, Seattle couldn't equalize with its special teams. The 49ers got the muffed punt. The 49ers made their field goal try. The 49ers were ready. I mean, Ray McLeod muffed the punt, but they're ready to recover. Oren Burks, that was a big recovery for him. And, the 49ers executed the keys in this game. Brock Purdy and the offense, and Kyle Shanahan said Jordan Brooks is terrible in coverage, the Seattle linebacker. Bobby Wagner at age 33 is old. Julian Love struggles to cover. So boom, the 49ers went after those guys. Deebo Samuel, 7 catches, 79 yards. Obviously, Aiyuk, middle of the field with the sealer there at the end. McCaffrey, 5 catches, 25 yards on top of the 114 yards rushing. So another epic game. 2 touchdowns now for Christian McCaffrey over the past 2 games, or a 2 touchdown streak for Christian. 2-game touchdown streak for Christian McCaffrey. He scored twice in this football game. Then you had Kittle, 3 for 19, but some big catches, including one on 3rd down. 49ers on 3rd down in this football game, 5 of 11, but they started off a lot hotter than that. I think they started off 4 of 5. So really, really impressive. 49ers dreams, goals, everything's still intact. Looks like the team is relatively healthy as well. And they can just move forward now at 8-3 with that number 2 spot in NFC to Philadelphia. So turkey was eaten on Seattle's field. Vengeance was attained for the 49ers. Huge divisional win. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'll be on a little bit later tonight. I got to do some more coverage of this football game. I think Kyle's press conference is about to start, so I'm going to go watch that. That, though, was impressive from the 49ers, who continue to show on a week-in, week-out basis that a healthy team, nice block by Charlie Werner, by the way, you're right, but the 49ers continue to show that a healthy version of their team is probably the best in the NFL. Okay, Elijah Mitchell ran well, too. How's that for a Thanksgiving treat? We'll talk to everybody soon.